Hello and welcome to today's show. This podcast is going to be all about creating space for healing. And one of the big ways that I'm going to talk about that today is that when you create space for abundance, getting out of the fear cycle and the fear pathway, that is going to allow space for you to not only heal emotionally, physically, but also to grow in alignment with the way that you want to be growing. I just got this sticker this past week, and I'm wearing some new swag. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can see I have a new shirt. It's called Empower the Women Around You. Well, it's not called that, but it has that written on it. It's from the Beauty Boost, from the Dayton Beauty Boost. So shout out to Dayton Beauty Boost today. And I got this sticker for them. Again, if you're on the YouTube channel, you can see it. It says, align your actions to your goals. And this is how you do it, by partnering with abundance, partnering with the universe, partnering with God. Okay. So I've got a couple quotes that I want to share. This podcast is borrowed heavily from a class that I did for Self-Care Society this past month. I always love being with that community of women as well. So the first quote is from Wayne Dyer, and he says, abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into. Now, I actually have an abundance challenge, 14-day challenge that I did last year in November. If you weren't on the email list then and you want to see that, I'll leave the info in the show notes. But it is so easy to believe that there is not enough to go around. It is so easy to believe that you are not going to get better, that you're going to stay in a state of chronic fatigue forever, that your dreams and goals are not possible. It is an act of rebellion to believe that the opposite is true and is possible. The next quote, actually, I think I maybe ruined the next quote because that's what the next quote talks about. It's from Michael Beckwith. And it says, there is a lie that acts like a virus within the mind of humanity. And that lie is, there's not enough good to go around. There's lack and there's limitations and there's just not enough. The truth is that there's more than enough good to go around. There is more than enough creative ideas. There is more than enough power. There is more than enough love. There is more than enough joy. All of this begins to come through a mind that is aware of its own infinite nature. There is enough for everyone. If you believe it, if you can see it, if you act from it, it will show up for you. That's the truth. And that's one of the reasons why I love this shirt from the Beauty Boost. Empower the women around you. How often were we taught growing up that if somebody else excelled, it meant that you lost? This is just a message that we have been fed over and over again. And if you are not aware that there might be an alternative, then it will keep you in that emotional state of disappointment and fear and scarcity and lack and not enough. And what we know from neuroscience and from researchers is that when you are in that state, and believe me, I go in and out of that state all the time. It's not saying never go there, but when you are habitually in there for prolonged periods of time, it has negative physical impacts on your body and you will experience more symptoms. Okay, so how do we combat this? What can we do? One of the things that I love doing is thinking about what is going well in my life. So that's what I'm going to invite you to do as well. Look at your life from a lens of abundance. What filled up your day? What worked well? Like over this past week, over, just whatever's happened before you happened upon to listen to this show, this podcast. What things were really amazing? I had written out some things too that I noticed. I'm like, last week, my kids had 2-hour delays and they had school canceled for snow. So I had an abundance of time with my children. And I really loved it. I also had an abundance of time for rest. And I took it because we didn't need to be as many places because we really couldn't go anywhere. So be thinking, what is going on in my life that there is an abundance of? What is going well in my life? In The Way Out by Alan Gordon, this is literally how you can start to heal neuroplastic pain, is by looking at a time when you expected that you would feel a symptom like chronic pain or fatigue or nausea or dizziness or all these other symptoms that are associated with mind-body syndrome. So if you can find a time when things went well, when you weren't in pain, when you thought that you would feel really tired, but you actually weren't, that is going to start to break the neural circuits, the neural pathways that are so heavily ingrained, and start to help open up pathways for healing instead. So you have a choice every day. Where are you going to shift your mind to? So if you're like really having a rough time, I get it. I have lots of podcasts for that, especially when you're having, like I said, when you're going through something hard. This might not be the message for you right this moment. But if you're kind of in this more neutral space where you're like, I don't really know what to do, what should I focus on? This is the perfect podcast for you. So when you're in that headspace, start noticing what is already going well in your life. And then from that, add in gratitude. This is the place to come to gratitude from. Not that I should be grateful for these things in my life, that I am grateful because there's all of these amazing things happening in my life. And if you go back to the model, which is one of my favorite coaching tools that I use daily, we know that every single thing that happens in our lives is neutral. They are facts. There is no morality to what happens in your life until you decide what it means. Your thoughts create your feelings, not the situation, okay? So when you start to look at things from a lens of abundance and a lens of what is going well, you are creating that for neutral things that are happening in your life. And that's where, like I said, we can start to go into this gratitude from that place. The thing didn't create your gratitude. Like them canceling school on the day that I wanted my kids to stay home, that did not cause gratitude for me. For a lot of people, they were upset about it, and probably part of me was upset about it too. What creates gratitude is what you believe about it. Like that thing happened, and I'm deciding that that's part of my life that's going well, and I'm really grateful for it. That is going to start to create that abundance mindset. Okay, so my next invitation for you is to start to create space for abundance. Space, I don't think I've told you yet, is my word for 2024. Creating space is what allows there to be room for what you want to come into your life. And if you don't create the space intentionally with something in mind of what's going to fill it up, then unintentionally we'll fill it with things that we don't really want. So let me give you an example. Kids' schedules, how about that? If you are not intentional with how much time you want your kids to spend on extracurricular activities, they will find them, and your space will get filled up. Your time will get filled up. I know this because we're learning through this right now. Before pre-COVID, my kids always had a limit of 2 things they could do after school. Usually one was music, and then another one was like a physical activity. Since COVID happened and everything shut down, we didn't have to worry about that because there was nothing for them to do. Now, as everybody's back into the full swing of things, we've said yes to everything because in my mind, there was a scarcity. Like they missed out on some things. They didn't get some experiences because they were at home and they weren't able to go do all of these things. So I've said yes to a lot of things. And what I've noticed is that their activities have filled our schedule. And we're committed and we love everything that they're doing. But would I make a different choice next time? Yes. Yes, I would, to create more space for our family time. That's what I want to be intentional about, our time to prioritize spiritual things, spiritual time with our family. So what do you already have a lot of? And where in your life can you intentionally create space for abundance, especially for the rest of this day, the rest of the week? So one of the things that I had journaled about from this was I have plenty of time in my day for stillness and rest. I will use my resting time to create space for innovation in my home life and in my business. because that's true. The more that I am mindful about my space and about creating stillness and rest, the more energy that it frees up for creativity. Okay. Another one, I have plenty of friends. I will use my friendships to create peace and unity in my life. I have plenty of energy to serve my clients well. I use my service energy to create a space for breakthroughs and transformation. So when you notice what you already have a lot of, again, I noticed that I was saying I have plenty of these things. Choose something that you do believe that you have plenty of, and then think about how you can use that to create what you want. So if you don't have energy right now, that might be a place to think about, okay, maybe I don't have the type of energy that I want to in this moment, but what do I have? I'm like, well, I have plenty of books. I will use these books to create. And what will you want? What do you want to create while you're reading those books? To create knowledge for yourself, to improve your experience, to experience a world that maybe you will never be able to be a part of. Like, go read a book from somebody that's living in a different country that you're never going to live in or don't have the desire to live in, but maybe you want to know a little bit more about. What do you already have a lot of that you can use in order to create what you want in your life? Okay? And then the final thing that I will encourage you to think about is think about yourself 5 years from now. What do you hope that somebody would say about you? What do you hope the impact of your life will be on other people? Because when you are creating from this intentional space of abundance, of there is plenty, there is more than enough, then your dreams get to come true. What is it that you dream about? Is it going, one of my big dreams is that I dream of having a healthy enough body that if my kids ever want to go on a hike or do something physical, I will always be able to say yes. And I don't even have a time frame limit for that. I see so many 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, even 90-year-olds on the internet that are physically fit and active. Why do we put a time limit on it? So what is it in the future that you hope will be your impact? One of the things that I wrote is that, let's see, what did I write? I go on retreats with girlfriends and exotic vacations with my sisters. When you have energy, when you have that ability to create from that place of knowing that there is enough of whatever it is, you're going to be able to have those dreams that you want. It's one of the things that I love to do with my clients is to help you dream again. So many of you tell me, oh, I just need clarity. Really, what you need is a vision of what's possible and then go to work making that possible, and clarity comes along the way. So I would invite you, if you are feeling down and discouraged and like, is this even possible? I don't know if I can have this, if I can actually have what I want. I don't even know exactly what it is I want, but I know that where I'm at right now is not what I want. It's not where I want to stay. If that's you, I encourage you to get on a call with me and I will help you. I will help you to live the life that you were destined to live. All right, have a great week and I'll talk to you later. Bye.